everybody. Welcome back to the USA Library's 2020 Art Behind the Game Con. My name is Paula Webb. I'm Outreach and Communications Librarian at the University of South Alabama. And today we have speaking Miss Heather Hoven, who is at the USA Biomedical Library, and she is going to talk about hydration for cosplayers. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Paula. You doing okay
Hi.
today?
Okay. Oh, I'm doing great. I'm so glad you could join us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Well, hello, everyone. I am Heather Hoven from the Biomedical Library, but today I'm going to swap to my SCA personality. I am Lady Heather of Lachlan. And the SCA is the Society of Creative Anachronism. We're just a bunch of people that like to get together and basically try our best to recreate history from the times of ancient Greece and Rome all the way up to the times of William Shakespeare. And we cover as many aspects as we can from that, be it cooking styles, games played, and yes, even fighting styles. The key points to this, however, for fighting are accuracy and safety. With that in mind, today I kind of want to talk not only about armor, but also staying hydrated. Because if you take a look at the armor I have on and the armor I have on display for you, it's mostly hardened leather and 12 to 14 gauge steel, which makes it nice and safe, but also really hot in the sun. So here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to get some of it on, which I already have. We're going to take my temperature. It was 97.5 degrees. Then we're going to see how much my body temp changes from now to at the end after I go exercise on my belt pole. Talk about that in a second. Now into the armor, starting with safety. So in the society, we've got rules about the different pieces of armor and the padding we use. And this is just to make sure everybody can leave and go back to their normal lives and not to the hospital. And with that in mind, let's talk about the first layer, which is literally what I'm wearing underneath this chainmail. Long pants, a long shirt, good pair of sturdy socks and shoes, because you don't want to fall with this stuff on, trust me. Okay? And then up next is this padded coif right here. This is what I'll be putting on my head before I put this on. This is my helm, and this lovely thing, is 6 pounds by itself. My chainmail is 10. Okay? Up next are the greaves that cover the thigh, knee, and leg. That's going to be these right here. As I said, we're just going to have them on display today because sadly, they were on loan to me from a friend, and she's a tad smaller than I am, so I couldn't get them on. But these are greaves. This is the part that will cover the thigh. This covers the knee and the leg area itself because, like I said, no broken bones, no going to the hospital. We're just fighting for fun. Now, up next, we have the padding for the van braces. It looks like a sleeve because it is a sleeve. What I would do is slide that over my arm and then put this particular piece of armor on. As you can see, its shoulder comes around to the elbow and down to the upper arm. Now it stops at about the wrist. The reason for that being that we have another piece of armor we put on called a gauntlet. Another piece of hardened leather. It goes around the wrist with a little glove for you to put your hand into as well. Okay? So gauntlets for hands, and then the last piece, which is really crucial, this is the one that they will check to make sure you have. If you don't have it, you are taken off the field. It is called a gorget. Looks like a really funky choker made of hardened leather and metal. The reason for that being, we're trying to cover as many places so they do not get hurt. The example of that being the reset button, which is what we call the spot on the back of the neck where your head meets your neck. And the reason we call it the reset button is because that gets hit, your life gets reset, and you get to start over again. AKA, you go to the hospital and possibly pass away. So, now that we've got that on, let's see if I can get this on. And this is going to be the fun part because I have to take off my glasses because this helm does not fit without glasses. I look like a little old maid with this coif on. It's kind of funny.
Still got a latch here.
Yeah, that latch broke.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm just kidding. You know, it's so easy to tie a bow when you can see it. Okay. There it is. Okay, good. Excellent. Now, up next is going to be my helm. Let's get the glasses off. Set those over here in a safe place. And now we get on the helm. As you can see, it's a bit of a beast. Inside we also have more foam for padding and straps to hold it on. So let's see if I can get this sucker on. And 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! And as you can see, my head's starting to bend forward a little bit. That's because this sucker is heavy. Now, next steps are going to be getting outside because this is about as dressed as I can get. Like I said, we thought we're about the same size. She's a tad smaller than I am. Otherwise, we'd go in full armor. So let's head outside. In this lovely 90-degree weather, which is what we pretty much fight in on a regular basis. Down the stairs. Stair 1. Stair 2. Stair 3. Stair 4. And we made it. Yay! And this is my pelipole. Literally a stick in the ground. And this is what we use to fight in the SCA. It's basically our stick or our sword is made of rattan, which is that palm tree. If y'all remember those basket weave chairs from like the 60s and 70s and 80s, where kind of like little squares on your butt, like you were sitting in a basket, that's what rattan is. And even it has its standards, where it has to be 2 different colors, red or black, blue or white, whatever you prefer. There has to be foam padding at the end. You have to have a hand guard with bat wrap and something to catch it should you happen to drop your sword. And now that we've discussed all that, I'm going to start hitting this and we'll start talking about hydration. Now, what is hydration in general? Basically, you're trying to keep a certain amount of water inside your body at one time. Most people think that on average, the human baby is about 66%. The average human being is anywhere 55 to 60% of water. And on a normal day, you will lose anywhere from about 2 to 3 liters of water. But for a fighter, as you can see, I'm wearing an oven. So I'll probably lose anywhere from 3.5 to 4 liters. It doesn't sound like much until you realize that that's about a gallon of water that's leaving my body at one point in time. Now, when it comes to dehydration, there are some symptoms and signs you're supposed to look for because your body is basically trying to say, please stop, get coolant in me. I need the antifreeze known as water inside my body. Baby, did you bring my cards out?
No, they're on the table.
Okay.
Jay, can you grab the cards off the table?
Some of those signs are obviously thirst. And if you've ever had that feeling where you've come in from out in the rain and your skin's cold and at the same time they call that clammy skin, that's another sign to look for. You may have trouble thinking properly, breathing, which I knew I'd get to that stage. That's why I wrote everything down on cards. Okay. Okay, Jay, can you bring me the other pile?
Where's the other pile? Table.
On the table. Computer table. Okay? While he's getting those, I will do my best to remember what I wrote down, but as I said, right now my cognitive function is starting to go down a little bit. Terrific. Thank you, Jay. Jay, everyone. Okay. Let's see. 55 to 60% water. That's what we are. And what that water does is basically joints, keep our body temperature regulated, obviously, and kind of nourishes the brain, the heart, and the lungs. Because the brain and the heart themselves, each take up about 3/4. They're about 3/4 moisture, and the lungs are about 83% moisture, which makes sense to get that blood flowing. Okay, so dehydration starts, your body temperature rises, so your body's going to increase the blood flow to the skin to take away that heat in the form of sweat. What happens if you don't drink enough? You'll see signs of dropping energy, mood, blood pressure, and cognitive impairment. And for each degree of that change, it slowly gets worse. You'll start with fatigue, but then you'll reach heat exhaustion and then heat stroke. So, that month, how much is actually enough? About 2 to 3.5 liters is how much you should drink in a day. That translates to about 3/4 of a gallon, or anywhere from 8 to 12 cups. And of course, that's on a normal day. If you are sick, if you have not eaten enough, if you are tired, if you are doing anything else other than just waking up, doing your normal daily activities, and going home, like, oh, say, fighting 10 pounds of chainmail and a 6-pound helm, you might want to drink a little bit more than that. So, the signs you are in trouble. 2 types of trouble: exhaustion and stroke. With exhaustion, you're going to get dizzy, you're going to sweat excessively, like your shirt's going to be completely soaked, like you just dipped in the pool. You're going to have nausea, muscle cramps, and that clammy skin we talked about. A rapid weak cough and a rapid weak pulse. Best thing you can do for that is to get in the cold, maybe grab your compress or shower, and please drink water. Which brings up another point. I know it's pretty common for some people to drink pickle juice. Remember, we're not trying to continue. We're trying to get water, liquid, into you. Some say it helps with the muscle cramps, but considering that you're also 60, consider that you are also putting salts into your system, and with that, if that ratio goes bad, you could have kidney damage. So try to just stick with regular water, maybe watered down Gatorade. We're getting to 100 strikes on the Pell pole. Up next, we got heat stroke. A throbbing headache, basically like somebody's trying to pound your head with a hammer. We've got no sweat whatsoever. Like Lily's standing here going, you know, I've just for a while. Why is my skin dry? Not a good sign, because your body has run out of moisture that it can send through the bloodstream up into your skin, like we talked about, to create sweat. Red, dry skin, like you've gotten a sunburn. Vomiting, always not fun. A rapid, strong pulse, because your blood is trying to get that stuff up as quick as it can, but it can't, which of course is going to lead to unconsciousness. $90. 100. And in that case, call 911 and try and get them someplace as cold as humanly possible. And with all that information in mind, I'm going to get my last 10 strikes. Excellent. Now, not really sure what our time is. All I know is right now I feel like my body's about to collapse from the weight of this stuff, so let me hand this over. Whew. And let's get this off. Hi, everybody. Well, from the feel of this coif, I'm still sweating. That's a good sign. Thank you, dear. Let's see. Press that button. Press that button and hold it. Okay. Remember how I said I started at 97.5? We're up to 98.7. I've only been out here 10 or 15 minutes in this. There are battles and sieges that we'll do that can last anywhere from 20 to 30. So imagine that. So right now I need to get water in me big time. You'll take that, please? Now, how does this apply to cosplayers? We all have favorite costumes we love to wear. They may not be made of metal, but they are heavy. And I know sometimes you don't want to take your costume off because it takes so much longer to get back on just to go to the bathroom, so you don't drink water. Very, very bad idea. So please, y'all, drink water. Don't make me come after you at a cosplay event because I'm usually the one volunteering. I will make you drink water. I will make you eat something because passing out is not fun. It doesn't do anything good for your costume. And that is my presentation.
Some things I want to point out, if that's okay.
Sure.
With the chainmail, if you'll notice, there's all these gaps in here, which makes it better airflow for her when wearing a cosplay costume of furs or whatever.
Jay, come take the camera from him so you can help me get this off.
With wearing the furs and heavy cloth, you have almost no breathability. There are ice vests that are available, and I highly suggest using those.
Jeremy.
Stand over.
Hello, Heather. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And yeah, let's let's get that heavy chainmail off of you and some water in you, per your advice, which is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions, anyone?
No, ma'am.
Let's
I've been
see. We don't have any at the moment, but we are open and available for any questions in the chat.
There we go.
Good boy.
Okay, so how are you feeling, Heather?
Okay.
Like I need to sit down and drink something.
Yes,
Get
please
you
do.
inside and get you some water in you.
This is a perfect example. This
From
is
my
why we are so
experience
grateful.
of wearing costumes, I've worn the cow costume, a rather well-known chain, and rode around on a fire truck sweating to death. And then I've also been the mascot of a TV station, and it was very, very important to make sure that I stayed hydrated. And I probably lost all of the water in my body, even though I had a water pack on my back that I could drink from.
Precisely. And let's go over those signs of heat exhaustion. Excessive sweat, ruddy, clammy skin, trouble breathing, and slight nausea. But
Now, what are some of the things that you can do to help whenever you're wearing your costume for a period of time? What are some practices or things that you can do while you're wearing the costume to help you out?
obviously, try to find thank you, Jay. Try to find a location with shade where you can cool off on a regular basis. Even though it may have taken you an hour to put that costume on, if you feel like you're getting exhausted, go at least get part of it off so you can breathe. Always have some type of water handy.
One of my recommendations, and I did this a lot when I was exiting, was there are water backpacks you can use that you can fill with ice and water. Put on your back underneath your costume, so it'll both keep you cool, and you can extend water nozzle into your helmet, so you can drink water and at the same time have ice on your back to keep you cool.
Okay.
Yep, that's another good one. And if you are at a con and you start feeling that way, look for anybody that's got a volunteer shirt on. That is what we do. Don't be afraid. Don't try to walk it off or try to push through it. Find one of us, because as you can see, I've already got signs of heat exhaustion, and I was only out there,
10 minutes, maybe?
10 minutes tops?
And you're going very light on your writing.
Yes.
You're very light on it.
Because that was just me practicing at a pell pole fighting. You'll not only be throwing a stick yourself, you'll also have people trying to throw a stick at you. You'll have to block shield, constant movement. So yeah, it's basically an aerobics and weightlifting class all in one.
How long is the tournament? How long are the periods that you have to wear your costume? Like in a tournament or whenever you're competing, how long are those periods you would usually have to stay in costume?
Usually, if it's a well-planned tournament, you'll have an hour worth of fighting, and then everybody stops for about 15 minutes, and they get back into the next type of fighting. So you'll have a tournament, then 15-minute break, then a bear pit fight. Then after that, you'll have, say, fencers fighting, the master rapiers after their particular awards.
Oftentimes, fighters will be in their armor for about 4 hours.
Okay.
Which is why we plan those breaks in between, so that way they have time. They may not be able to get their armor off, but they have time to sit down and drink.
Are they usually all outside, or are they inside?
9% of them are outside. Rarely do we have them inside.
Yes. So we just do the best we can.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much for giving us such a great example. I would have never thought of those things or considered those things. Now, there are a variety of costumes. You've worn chainmail. Are there other types of costumes out there that people wear at cons that you've seen that they've dressed a certain way or they've worn a certain outfit and they didn't, and it's made of a material or something that they didn't realize at first when they were getting dressed and ready for this thing, that they get there and they don't realize, oh, this material is not appropriate for this type of environment and I'm dying or I'm overheated. Is there anything like that or experiences like that you maybe run into?
Yes, actually. At one event we were at last year, Magic City Con in Birmingham, Alabama, we had a girl dress up as a character from a video game. She used polyester to create this costume and had these huge 8-foot long wings that she's wearing as well. And she refused to eat or drink anything because she didn't want to have to take the wings off to go to the bathroom. Suffice to say, when I picked her up off the floor, got peanut butter crackers and some juice in her, she decided to go to the bathroom.
Polyester is one of the worst materials to make costumes out of because it does not breathe and it traps heat. You want to go more with natural fibers. Unless you're in the wintry areas, try to stay away from wool, like you're in the summer areas. There is a summer wool, a lightweight wool that you can use. But try to avoid heavier, thicker materials as much as possible.
You can say, truthfully, probably the best 3 materials you can use for a costume are linen, muslin, and cotton. Because they all breathe.
I saw the Game of Thrones outfit with the huge, large wool, thick things seemed to be not appropriate to a con then because of the amount of heat. Do You know, the Game
True,
of
but then
Thrones outfit.
some will actually have two versions of their costume if they have enough time to make both versions. One made out of a lighter cotton, but they know they're going to be in some place like the Galleria. It was the mall that was attached to the hotel we were at, where they kept a constant cold temperature. They'll put on the more wool, more thick costume.
And Jay had a suggestion on material.
Yes. There is a type of foam that usually furry cosplayers use that is designed to be more breathable, and especially since furries tend to not be able to use standard methods like cloth and stuff like that. There's this type of craft foam. It's escaping my brain at the moment. But yes, it's better to use crafting foam rather than the heavier stuff like styrofoam.
Okay. So crafting foam. Okay, this is cool. Oh, well, that leads me to another question. Oh, we have a question. Let me show the question below. Are there ways to make non-breathing materials work in your favor? Leather, metal, wool, etc.
To make gaps, exactly, because there is a type of armor called lamellar plate armor or leather armor that, unlike chainmail, just goes around your front and back and leaves basically spaces underneath your armpits where a breeze can get through. As Jeremy suggested with wool, the light summer wools would be best. Leather, there's really a way to do that other than, as Jeremy said, spacing.
If you are doing a full costume, like, say, I'm from an animal like furries, a big furry cosplayer, the best way to do it is have little small shins and joints and stuff that is designed to be like a small little mesh, designed to get airflow to your system, or just do a thin layer of mesh under it, designed to keep airflow in your system.
Yep, and then metal. As we saw with the chainmail, we had wasn't a long single piece of metal. It was little tiny rings that have been put together to get airflow, but still offer protection. So when in doubt, try to space it out.
Okay. The chainmail, is it, what is the chainmail? Is it steel or is it aluminum or?
Steel.
It's steel jump rings that have been put in a certain 4-in-1 pattern. So basically there's one central ring that has 4 attached to it, kind of almost looks like a daisy. And then you just keep attaching in that pattern, kind of an MC Escher looking thing, until, until finally you have your chainmail armor.
Okay. Cool.
As far as that through the chainmail, as far as accuracy on it, the way the rings are linked and the way it hangs, it's 90 degrees out of phase of what it's supposed to be. The ring should have been turned 90 degrees so that it would actually suck the armor into the body more, as opposed to the larger gap. The armor that she was wearing is actually made of too thick of ring for the whole time period, and if it was spaced correctly and turned correctly, would have been twice the weight it is right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
it would have gone from 10 to 20 pounds.
Yeah. So we definitely need to accommodate for those things when you create your costumes. Is there any other things that you run into since you volunteer? Has there been any other examples of overheating or excuse me, a situation where the person, you've seen another example of someone who didn't hydrate properly or they weren't thinking when they created a costume of basic necessities? Like, you talked about wool and what was it, polyester that doesn't need to be worn? What was that? And what material that's not a good idea?
Okay. Can you think of any? I mean, you're the veteran here.
As far as dietary, you want to stay with more of natural foods, salads, stuff like that. Stay away from the red meat. Stay away from heavy salty foods. The more salt you add to your body, the higher your blood pressure is going to be, which is also going to cause problems with your heat and stress. As well as if you take too much salt in, it's going to have a negative effect as far as getting water into your body. So you want to drink more straight water, stay away from the Coke. I'm sorry?
So a turkey leg is not a good idea?
No, turkey leg is not a good option.
Well, actually, that
At a
white meat don't overeat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I rarely see this. It's usually on the high electronic furry costumes, but I have seen, especially other cosplayers, put in built-in fans in their costumes themselves. They control with a simple move of their fingers to adjust fan speed and like phase to the body to keep air cool.
Mm. And then also something to look for as well is when you wear a costume, check how much it's going to pull down on you. We had one girl dress up as Rose Quartz from Steven Universe, and she didn't realize how much weight, how much that hoop skirt will pull down on her hips because it had like 10 pounds of material on it. And she ended up having to change her costumes because she developed some issues.
Weight
We have
distribution
another
is big.
question.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Can low blood pressure affect your hydration in cosplay?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
Because too low of a blood pressure means that you can't get the sweat out as well, so you may jump automatically into exhaustion or heat stroke. High blood pressure is going to get it out too fast, low get it out too slow. Not to mention, you won't be able to get enough oxygen into your system, so you may start showing signs of or just complete and total cognitive dysfunction.
Well, I have learned a lot today. Thank you so much. I've never heard of any of these things before. Thank you so much. Anything else you care to share before you're done? Or is there any advice you would like to give to USA students or anything like that?
Please be safe. Make sure that you tried on your costume and walked around the kind of temperatures you'll be dealing with for at least 10 minutes to see if you can make it. And please, y'all, drink water and go to the bathroom. Please.
Always watch the color of your urine. If it's white, you're drinking enough water. As far as clear and white. If it's a darker yellow, you need water. You need hydration.
Color of Coca-Cola, it's time to sit down and call an ambulance.
Yeah. For a complete costume, when it comes to full entire suits and masks, be sure to take at least every hour 5 to 10 minute break, taking off mask and cold air on your face. Because even with having separation from the masks and arms, you still have heat and catch on your face and chest and stuff.
Right. Wonderful.
And I would
thank you.
Also a buddy.
Oh,
I would also suggest that you walk around with a buddy. Do a buddy system. Okay. Have someone always there with water or food or whatever to keep an eye on you as you go.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much, Heather. That was great. And I so appreciate you doing this. And I actually look forward to next year. You doing the same thing, only we do it like in the library. And we do the same test. I think it'd be fabulous. Right. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
And thanks everyone for joining us. Bye.